Noli me Tangere. Alfonso Linares is a distant nephew of Tiburcio de Espinada, the would-be fiancé of Maria Clara. Although he presented himself as a practitioner of law, it was later revealed that he, just like Don Tiburcio, is a fraud. He later died due to given medications of Don Tiburcio. Tia Isabel is Capitan Tiago's cousin, who raised Maria Clara. Governor General, Gobernador General, is the unnamed person in the novel. He is the most powerful official in the Philippines. He has great disdain for the friars and corrupt officials, and sympathizes with Ibarra. Don Filippo Lino is the vice mayor of the town of San Diego, leader of the liberals. Padre Manuel Martin is the linguist curate of a nearby town who delivers the sermon during San Diego's fiesta. Don Rafael Ibarra is the father of Crisostomo Ibarra. Though he is the richest man in San Diego, he is also the most virtuous and generous. Doña Pia Alba is the wife of Capitan Tiago and mother of Maria Clara. She died giving birth to her daughter. In reality, she was raped by Damaso so she could bear a child. These characters were mentioned in the novel, appeared once, mentioned many times or have no major contribution to the storyline. Don Pedro y Barramendia is the great-grandfather of Crisostomo Ibarra, who came from the Basque area of Spain. He started the misfortunes of Elias family. His descendants abbreviated their surname to Ibarra. He died of unknown reasons, but was seen as a decaying corpse on a bolite tree. Don Saturnino Ibarra is the son of Don Pedro, father of Don Rafael and grandfather of Crisostomo Ibarra. He was the one who developed the town of San Diego. He was described as a cruel man but was very clever. Other characters. Sinang is Maria Clara's friend. Because Crisostomo Ibarra offered half of the school he was building to Sinang, he gained Capitan Basilio's support. Ide, Neneng and Victoria are Maria Clara's other friends. Capitan Basilio is Sinang's father, leader of the conservatives. Pedro is the abusive husband of Sisa who loves cockfighting. Don Pablo is the leader of the Tulisanes, bandits, whose family was destroyed because of the Spaniards. Don Pablo is the leader of the Tulisanes, bandits, whose family was destroyed because of the Spaniards. El Hombre Amarillo, apparently means, yellowish person, named as Taong Matalao, is one of Crisostomo Ibarra's would-be assassins. He is not named in the novel, and only described as such. In the novel, he carved the cornerstone for Ibarra's school. Instead of killing Ibarra, he was killed by his cornerstone. Lucas is the brother of the Taong Matalao. He planned a revolution against the government with Ibarra as the leader after he was turned down by Ibarra. He was said to have a scar on his left cheek. He would later be killed by the sacristan mayor. Bruno and Tarsilo are a pair of brothers whose father was killed by the Spaniards. Nyor Juan, is the appointed as foreman of the school to be built by Ibarra. Capitana Tika is Sinang's mother and wife of Capitan Basilio. Albino, a former seminarian who joined the picnic with Ibarra and Maria Clara. He was later captured during the revolution. Capitana Maria Elena is a nationalist woman who defends Ibarra of the memory of his father. Capitan Tinong and Capitan Valentin are other known people from the town of San Diego. Sacristan Mayor is the one who governs the altar boys and killed Crispin for his accusation. Plot summary. Having completed his studies in Europe, young Juan Crisostomo Ibarra y Magdalene comes back to the Philippines after a 7-year absence. In his honor, Don Santiago de los Santos, a family friend commonly known as Captain Tiago, threw a get-together party, which was attended by friars and other prominent figures. One of the guests, former San Diego curate Fray Damaso Vartalagas, belittled and slandered Ibarra. Ibarra brushed off the insults and took no offense. He instead politely excused himself and left the party because of an allegedly important task. The next day, Ibarra visits Maria Clara, his betrothed, the beautiful daughter of Captain Tiago, an affluent resident of Binondo. Their long-standing love was clearly manifested in this meeting, and Maria Clara cannot help but reread the letters her sweetheart had written her before he went to Europe. Before Ibarra left for San Diego, Lieutenant Guevara, a civil guard, reveals to him the incidents preceding the death of his father, Don Rafael Ibarra, a rich hacendero of the town. According to Guevara, Don Rafael was unjustly accused of being a heretic, in addition to being a subservient, an allegation brought forth by Damaso because of Don Rafael's non-participation in the sacraments, such as confession and mass. Damaso's animosity against Ibarra's father is aggravated by another incident when Don Rafael helped out on a fight between a tax collector and a child fighting, and the former's death was blamed on him, although it was not deliberate. Suddenly, all of those who thought ill of him surfaced with additional complaints. He was imprisoned, and just when the matter was almost settled, he died of sickness in jail. Still not content with what he had done, Damaso arranged for Don Rafael's corpse to be dug up from the Catholic Church and brought to a Chinese cemetery, because he thought it inappropriate to allow a heretic a Catholic burial ground. Unfortunately, it was raining, and because of the bothersome weight of the body, the undertakers decide to throw the corpse into a nearby lake. Revenge was not in Ibarra's plans. Instead, he carried through his father's plan of putting up a school, since he believed that education would pave the way to his country's progress. All over the novel, the author refers to both Spain and the Philippines as two different countries as part of a same nation or family, with Spain seen as the mother and the Philippines as the daughter. During the inauguration of the school, Ibarra would have been killed in a sabotage had Elias, a mysterious man who had warned Ibarra earlier of a plot to assassinate him, not saved him. Instead, the hired killer met an unfortunate incident and died. The sequence of events proved to be too traumatic for Maria Clara, who got seriously ill but was luckily cured by the medicine Ibarra sent. After the inauguration, Ibarra hosted a luncheon during which Damaso, gate-crashing the luncheon, again insulted him. Ibarra ignored the priest's insolence, but when the latter slandered the memory of his dead father, he was no longer able to restrain himself and lunged at Damaso, prepared to stab him for his impudence. As a consequence, Damaso excommunicated Ibarra, taking this opportunity to persuade the already hesitant Tiago to forbid his daughter from marrying Ibarra. The friar wished Maria Clara to marry Linares, a peninsular who had just arrived from Spain. With the help of the Governor-General, Ibarra's excommunication was nullified and the Archbishop decided to accept him as a member of the church once again. But, as fate would have it, some incident of which Ibarra had known nothing about was blamed on him, and he is wrongly arrested and imprisoned. The accusation against him was then overruled because during the litigation that followed, nobody could testify that he was indeed involved. Unfortunately, his letter to Maria Clara somehow got into the hands of the jury and is manipulated such that it then became evidence against him by the parish priest, Fray Salva. With Machiavellian precision, Salva framed Ibarra and ruined his life just so he could stop him from marrying Maria Clara and making the latter his concubine. Meanwhile, in Capitan Tiago's residence, a party was being held to announce the upcoming wedding of Maria Clara and Linares. Ibarra, with the help of Elias, took this opportunity to escape from prison. Before leaving, Ibarra spoke to Maria Clara and accused her of betraying him, thinking that she gave the letter he wrote her to the jury. Maria Clara explained that she would never conspire against him, but that she was forced to surrender Ibarra's letter to Father Salva, in exchange for the letters written by her mother even before she, Maria Clara, was born. The letters were from her mother, Pia Alba, to Damaso alluding to their unborn child, and that Maria Clara was therefore not Captain Tiago's biological daughter, but Damaso's. Afterwards, Ibarra and Elias fled by boat. Elias instructed Ibarra to lie down, covering him with grass to conceal his presence. As luck would have it, they were spotted by their enemies. Elias, thinking he could outsmart them, jumped into the water. The guards rained shots on him, all the while not knowing that they were aiming at the wrong man. Maria Clara, thinking that Ibarra had been killed in the shooting incident, was greatly overcome with grief. Robbed of hope and severely disillusioned, she asked Damaso to confine her into a nunnery. Damaso reluctantly agreed when she threatened to take her own life, demanding the nunnery or death. Unbeknownst to her, Ibarra was still alive and able to escape. It was Elias who had taken the shots. It was Christmas Eve when Elias woke up in the forest fatally wounded, as it is here where he instructed Ibarra to meet him. Instead, Elias found the altar boy Basilio cradling his already dead mother, Sissa. The latter lost her mind when she learned that her two sons, Crispin and Basilio, were chased out of the convent by the sacristan mayor on suspicions of stealing sacred objects. The truth is that, it was the sacristan mayor who stole the objects and only pinned the blame on the two boys. The said sacristan mayor actually killed Crispin while interrogating him on the supposed location of the sacred objects. It was implied that the body was never found and the incident was covered up by Salva. Elias, convinced that he would die soon, instructs Basilio to build a funeral pyre and burn his and Sissa's bodies to ashes. He tells Basilio that, if nobody reaches the place, he come back later on and dig for he will find gold. He also tells him, Basilio, to take the gold he finds and go to school. In his dying breath, he instructed Basilio to continue dreaming about freedom for his motherland with the words, I shall die without seeing the dawn break upon my homeland. You, who shall see it, salute it. Do not forget those who have fallen during the night. Quote. Elias died thereafter. In the epilogue, it was explained that Tiago became addicted to opium and was seen to frequent the opium house in Binondo to satiate his addiction. Maria Clara became a nun where Salva, who has lusted after her from the beginning of the novel, regularly used her to fulfill his lust. One stormy evening, a beautiful crazy woman was seen at the top of the convent crying and cursing the heavens for the fate it has handed her. While the woman was never identified, it is suggested that the said woman was Maria Clara. Thank you.